Inchstones, 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 Inchstones. Welcome back to the podcast today. Yesterday, I was so excited to be able to spend time with you, but I didn't get a chance to. The corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. Yesterday was Proverbs 26, and it was crazy because as I was walking through this, I was on my walk, and I was like, here's exactly what we're going to talk about. And then on my walk, God said, this is not what you're going to talk about. This is what you're going to talk about. And also, too, as I was reading it, a lot of it was about foolish behavior. I was like, how am I going to be able to make this foolish behavior thing? How am I going to be able to make it consumable? Well, then as I was sitting, I realized that all the things that I was hearing in the proverb, the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, were things that my dad had said to me. And how many of us have a dad who said sayings to us over and over and over again? And a lot of times we got to a point where we weren't like, we just almost shut it off. Well, the scary thing for me today is that as I read through Proverbs 26, I realized that all those things, those dad-isms or those dad sayings, and we all have them no matter what dad you have, there's so many of them that actually have biblical foundation. But I'm not, I wouldn't tell my pops that he was right. I would just, I just keep telling him that, hey, I wasn't digging on that particular one, or sometimes I just wouldn't even listen. So Proverbs 26, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. Let's get this party started.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
I always have to check my energy, and my energy this morning kind of got off. And I don't know if you've ever been through this, but I had to go on the call, the 1-800 number with my bank about my credit card. And the woman asked me, how's your day? And I told her right off the bat, it's actually, I'm not going to be in that great of a mood. I am, frustrated because I've been on hold. I've been pushing zero. I don't have this information or that information, but it could throw the energy off. So no matter where you're at, we can have these things in our life that will throw us off. And I'm so glad that I have the word to be able to get me grounded back. But I tell you, on the phone call that I was just on, I lost my religion. And I was not that happy with the person. But that's why I continually have to go back to Proverbs every single day, every single morning. It's not a set it and forget it. It is a constant thing. And wisdom is just like that, where we constantly have to search it out and we will never arrive. And I definitely haven't arrived at patience or any of those things. And I don't know if any of you could feel me on this or you've gone through that experience, but that's what I just got off the phone with. So I want to shift my energy back to wisdom. But I want you to understand the real life, the real challenges that go through. And I don't know, there's something in me that makes me so angry when I get on the phone with a Chase, with a DirecTV, with anybody who prompts me, and then I don't have the information for it. So let's go to the corresponding proverb, corresponding day. This is Inchstones. An inchstone is a little tiny thing that will get us closer to our desired result, as opposed to focusing on the milestones. The little inchstones, when they're piled up, they become the milestone. And so, Proverbs 26 was all about dad sayings. And if you add a boy before every saying, that's how my dad would say it. He would always say, boy, breathe, drink water, and pray. That's what he would tell me. He would say, boy, you need to read one page of the Bible every single day. Boy, there's only one business in the world, one business only, and that's the people business. Take the people out of the business. You got no business at all. And so that's what I would hear over and over again, and I would resist it so often. but now I use it as foundational wisdom. The first saying is, boy, that don't make no sense. I don't know if you can hear your dad saying that, but I can hear my pops like it was yesterday. Boy, that don't make no sense. In verse 1 of Proverbs 26, it says, like snow in summer and rain in harvest, honor is not fitting for a fool. Boy, that don't make no sense. Think about that saying. And the second one here was, boy, make your bed and you have to sleep in it. That's in verse 3. It says a whip for the horse, a bridle for the donkey, and a rod for the backs of fools. Boy, timing is everything. In verse 4 and 5, it says, do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be like him. Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes. I don't know about you, but if you read those two verses, they're contradictory to each other, and they always confuse me. In verse 4, it says, don't answer a fool according to his folly. And in verse 5, it says, answer a fool according to his folly. But here's the thing. Boy, timing is everything. That dad saying, boy, timing is everything. You have to understand your audience, boy. Like, when I hear that, that comes from a biblical sense, right? So, again, I don't know your dad. I just know mine, but I want you to channel this and figure out. I want you to write down the things that your dad would say that sometimes you didn't understand or sometimes you wanted to come up against. Here's the next one. Boy, you could always tell a tree by its fruit. And in verse 6 through 12, it takes you right through this. So sending a message by the hands of a fool is like cutting off one's feet or drinking poison. And it goes down the line and it tells you all these different things about you could tell a tree by its fruit. Boy, hard work will eat talent for breakfast every single day. Now, I find myself saying these things to my son. I'm becoming the dad that I was frustrated by at times. Boy, don't let your alligator mouth overload your parakeet butt. That was probably one of my favorite ones that my pops would say. And this is in verse 17. It says right here, like one who grabs a stray dog by his ears is someone who rushes into a quarrel not their own. My buddy Will told me of a time, his buddy Jeffy, they were at the beach down in Newport. And Jeffy went out and saw a guy yelling at his girlfriend. The guy was really big, and he stepped in. He said, why are you yelling at the woman? And then the guy turned and said, well, maybe I got a problem with you. And then my buddy Will stepped in and didn't realize how big the guy was that he was stepping in for Jeffy for, but he was stepping into a battle that wasn't his. Now, Will is an incredible man, and he was helping a brother out, but you got to be conscious of this, so don't let your alligator mouth overload your parakeet butt in verse 17. In verse 18 through 20, boy, stop talking all those smacks. I remember that was a saying that my teacher, my English teacher, Mrs. Ricks, said in Vandenberg Middle School. Boy, stop talking all those smacks, or stop talking all that smack. Right? Verse 18 through 20, it says, like a maniac shooting flaming arrows of death is one who deceives their neighbor and says, I was only joking. Without wood, a fire goes out. Without gossip, a quarrel dies down. As charcoal to embers and wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome person in kindling strife. The words of a gossip are like choice morsels. They go down to the inmost parts. Stop talking those smacks. Stop gossiping, doing those things. Here we go. Boy, whatever you do in the dark will come into the light. This is a thing that my pops would say all the time. That's verse 23 through 26. Like coating of silver dross on earthenware are fervent lips with an evil heart. Enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. Though their speech is charming, do not believe them, for 7 abominations fill their hearts. Their malice may be concealed by deception, but their wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. Whatever you do in the dark will come into the light. And here's the final one. Boy, It's all about seed time and harvest, seed time and harvest, seed time and harvest. And when I say I could hear my pops. I don't know if any of you could hear your dad saying some of these things. In verse 27 and 28 of Proverbs 26, it says, whoever digs a pit falls into it. If someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. A lying tongue hates those who it hurts, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Seed time and harvest. Seed time and harvest, seed time and harvest. That's what my pops would always say. Whatever you plant, son, is going to turn into the harvest. So just be conscious of the seeds that you plant. All right. And so I just want to read this to you. It says we can all hear our dads saying these phrases to us or something very similar. My pops would say, boy, and then he would follow up the saying that most of the time I would roll my eyes because of the frequency of him delivering it. Sometimes I feel that dads just say things randomly with no context. That is what I used to think until today, when I was surprised to see that they were all backed by biblical truth. Growing up with these phrases frustrated us because our dad sounded like a broken record, although I just realized that I have become that dad to my kids. Thanks, Pops. Sorry for not listening earlier. This comes from my pops. Boy, there's only one business in the world, one business only, and that's the people business. You take the people out of the business, you have no business at all. And that's from Pops. And the reference point that I put is the Bible cover to cover. What I keep realizing is when I study the word, it's nothing more than a people book. It's about building people, and those people will build the relationships, they'll build the business, they'll build whatever. But if you take the people out, there's no business and no relationship at all. And God wants to start with a relationship with us first. These dad sayings and the sayings that you hear, track them back and check them with biblical truth. If it has it, continue to use it. If not, you could simply discard it. Proverbs 26, the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over again.